She thought the nightmare had ended, but when he returned, smiling, her world crumbled all over again. The evening air was thick with tension when the familiar car pulled up to the driveway. Eziamara's heart leapt, part hope, part dread. She clutched Jewel and Star's hands tightly, praying that this moment would bring relief, some trace of normalcy, some explanation that would make sense. Christopher stepped out first, looking as calm and composed as he always did. He was impeccably dressed, his hair neat, his smile soft, but there was something different this time. Behind him, a shadow followed, Saudi. She walked with ease, radiant and confident, her presence already claiming the space around her. Eziamaraa froze, trying to steady herself as Christopher approached. His children ran toward him, their laughter breaking the tension for just a moment. Jewel leapt into his arms while Star wrapped himself around Christopher's legs. Eziamara's chest ached at the sight, her children so full of trust and love, unaware of the storm that had overtaken their home. Christopher looked at her, his smile softening as he leaned down to press a brief kiss to her forehead.
"I missed you,"
he said lightly, as if nothing had happened, as if nothing needed explanation. Her stomach churned. She waited, holding her breath, desperate for some sign of remorse, an explanation, a clue that her mind could cling to. But there was none. Saudi followed them into the house, glancing around casually, and Eziamaraa realized what she had feared the most: Christopher and Saudi would be sharing the guest room. Her own home, her sanctuary, had been quietly divided while she was left with appearances to uphold. The night stretched on with a fragile, unnatural calm. Christopher laughed lightly with the children, read them stories, helped them with homework, all while she sat at the edge of the room, clinging to composure that felt like it was splintering with every second. Days passed, and the polite, everyday rhythms of life offered no answers. Eziamaraa tried not to look at them, tried not to think of the quiet intimacy she glimpsed between Christopher and Saudi in the hallways, in the kitchen, in subtle gestures no one else would notice but her. Finally, after several sleepless nights of waiting, she could no longer contain herself. She waited until the children were asleep, until the house was quiet, and then she dialed his number.
"Christopher, come to the master bedroom,"
she said, her voice steady despite the quake of emotion underneath.
"We need to talk."
There was a pause. A long, tense pause that made her stomach turn. Then his voice, familiar but strained, answered softly.
"I'll be there."
When he entered the room, everything seemed calm. He smiled, a small, weary smile, and kissed her forehead again, gentle, familiar, almost soothing. But she saw it, the hesitation behind his eyes, the tension in his jaw, the burden he carried.
I've been avoiding this,"
he admitted quietly as he sat beside her, the softness in his voice a stark contrast to the storm she felt raging inside.
"I didn't know how to say it. I didn't want to hurt you. But I owe you the truth. You deserve that much. Eziamaraa. I don't even know where to start."
Her throat tightened.
"Start with the truth, Christopher. I've waited 2 weeks for it."
He drew in a shaky breath.
I came home because I wanted to see you, to see the kids, and I wanted us, just for a moment, to feel normal again."
His voice cracked, a rare break in his usually steady tone.
"I know I don't deserve it. I know what I've done, and I can't undo it. But I had to. I had to be near you, if only to tell you face to face that I am sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry."
Eziamaraa felt her chest tighten, her body responding to the sincerity, the rawness of his words. She had always known him as careful, responsible, protective, and that part of him hadn't disappeared. She could hear the man she had married in the tremor of his voice, the affection for their children woven into every syllable. He continued, a tremor creeping into his words.
"I've loved you for years, and you have been everything. Perfect. More than I deserve. You've built our life, held us together, given me everything. His voice broke slightly. And yet, there's Saudi. I can't pretend anymore. I can't pretend my heart doesn't belong to her too.
Eziamara's fingers gripped the bedsheet tighter, a mixture of anger, betrayal, and sorrow pulsing through her.
So, this is it? 2 lives you've broken, for what?
No.
His voice rose, urgent, desperate.
This is not simple. I didn't want to hurt you. I don't want to lose you, or the children. Every day I've been torn apart, Eziamaraa. I've been trying to be a good husband, a good father, but my heart is split. And I didn't know how to live with it anymore without breaking you in the process.
She swallowed, her tears threatening to fall.
So what? What do you want me to do?
Another pause. She could almost hear him pacing, struggling, the silence heavy with the weight of his decision.
I don't want to choose.
He admitted, voice raw. Eziamara's chest felt like it was splitting. Her mind spun with every possibility, anger, despair, devastation, but also understanding. She could hear the struggle in him, the deep conflict of a man trying to honor responsibility while following the pull of his own heart.
You are asking me to stay, to accept her?
Her voice trembled, disbelief mingling with sorrow.
Yes. I don't want you to leave, but I can't deny her either. I am so sorry, Eziamaraa. I never wanted it to be this way. I never wanted to hurt you. I'm begging you, stay for the children. Stay for us, even if it's complicated.
She closed her eyes, feeling the weight of every word. She could hear his heartbeat through the silence, steady, familiar, filled with love, even in betrayal. She began, her voice breaking.
I will stay. For the children. But, Christopher, this is not forgiveness. Not yet.
A heavy sigh escaped him, one of relief, anguish, and exhaustion all at once.
I know. I don't expect it to be. I couldn't leave without telling you. I couldn't let you live in uncertainty any longer.
Eziamaraa nodded to herself, tears falling silently. The choice had been made, not out of love for him, but out of love for her children, for the life she had to protect. Yet in that moment, the full gravity of living under the same roof with him and Saudi pressed on her chest like a stone. As Christopher reached out and gently held her hand, she whispered to the empty room, to herself, to the shattered world they now shared.
I am staying, but my world has forever changed.
Morning light on the kitchen floor. I built this house from love and more. Framed your fears, hung up your past. Thought we were built to really last. I wore devotion like a crown. Held you up, I held you down. Skipped my needs to fit your plans. Signed my soul with trembling hands. Was I